Jai Gurudev. We will start with our live session now. I am very happy to be here with all of you. I was invited to speak on yoga today, and the topic we'll discuss is secrets of pranayama. So I hope that the sound is good, people are able to hear properly, and if anybody has any questions, you can leave a question in the comment section, and then we will take that up as well during the talk. First, I'll briefly introduce myself. My name is Swami Purnachaitanya. I am originally from the Netherlands, and I have been with the Art of Living with my master, Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankarji, for the last 15 years. And the last 10 years or so, I've been conducting programs on yoga, meditation, been teaching people across India and few other parts of the world as well. The last few years, I've been mainly working in the northeastern region of India, which borders with China, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Bhutan, and there also, through our programs, had a chance to interact with all different types of people. But today we'll talk a little bit more about yoga. So yoga is something which nowadays is becoming more and more popular. All over the world now people know about yoga. But then still we see that there are many concepts. Like I remember even when the first time I heard about yoga, I thought it has something to do more with becoming more flexible, becoming more fit physically, then knowing about the deeper aspects of yoga. I see that our connection is little weak. I'll just try to improve that. So yoga as a science is something which is becoming more and more popular, but people know very little about it, usually in the beginning. When we see now, we had the first International Day of Yoga, which was celebrated last year, which took yoga to many more people, many more corners of this world. Even I remember when I came to India for the first time, I was surprised to hear that even in India itself, just a few decades ago, yoga, the science of yoga, of pranayama, many of these things were not readily available for the public. They were not taught to the general public. There were restrictions, there were less teachers available, and they would be particular about the students. It was a science which was not readily shared with everybody usually. And we've seen over the last few decades that some people have worked really hard, some organizations have worked really hard to make this knowledge which is so beneficial, this science which is so beneficial, to make it available for everybody. One of them being our Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankarji, who's also worked tirelessly traveling around the world and still is doing that. So yoga, what is yoga? This itself we can talk about for days, but to put it in short, it's an ancient knowledge, a science, a tradition which allows us to experience our true nature, to what they said is to unite. Yoga, the word yoga means to unite, to unite the small mind, our limited understanding, our concepts with the universal consciousness. To, you can say, realize God, realize your true nature. We are not just the body, we are a mind also. We are made up of body and spirit. So this spirit is eternal. It has these qualities of joy, peace, which it can never lose, but then sometimes we are not able to experience this. That is what many people have shared. When they start doing yoga, meditation, they are able to tap into that joy, that enthusiasm, that peace, that love which you experience as a child. Everybody experiences as a child. If you see small children, they are so joyful. Anywhere in the world, unless there is like really some serious problems, children naturally, they are so natural, they are so at home with anybody, anywhere you take them, and they need very little to be happy. Even playing in the mud, they are so joyful, they are so enthusiastic. And this is a quality which reflects our true nature. This is what is there inside of us. But then somehow in the process of growing up and becoming educated, we seem to lose this very often. Sometimes we joke around it, saying that, as a small child you smile so much, and then when you grow up it becomes less and less, and the more time you spend in school, the more the smile decreases, and by the time someone has a PhD, they stop smiling at all. But definitely you see many times in our society, I have seen both in the West and even other parts of the world, that nowadays people are so stressed, they are more worried, more tense, they are less natural, they feel less at home with the people around them. The sense of belongingness is decreasing. What we used to see in the village, where everybody feels connected. If anybody needs help, other people will help them. Nowadays in the cities we do not see this. Even in the villages it is decreasing. So the human values, that humanness that we see, which is our nature, is going to the background. There's a veil is covering that, a veil of stress, of not knowing about ourselves, about our mind, about our emotions, about where we come from, who we really are. And this is something which yoga can help us with, to tap into this, to again experience this. So yoga is not just the postures, not just the stretches, what we call asanas, the physical postures. It is a vast science which covers so many aspects, including meditation, including breathing techniques, which we call pranayama, including knowledge of how to manage the mind, how the mind works. It's fascinating how the consciousness works, different aspects of the consciousness, how the impressions get stored in the consciousness whenever we do something, and how that influences us later on, what we call karma, the impressions, how to become free from these. So again, it's a vast topic. Today we will just take up a small aspect of this. We'll talk more about pranayama. So pranayama means the knowledge of the breathing techniques, the breath. So the word prana, it's a Sanskrit word. It's beautiful. It means the subtle life force energy. If you see our body, it functions not just because there is blood inside, you put food inside. When someone passes away, the body is still there, but it is not functioning. So there is an energy in the body, bioenergy, a life force, which allows it to function, which allows the organs to function the way it does, which allows the mind to function the way it does. And that is why if you observe, sometimes you can feel this. It's very subtle, but when you do, like when we do some of the breathing techniques, so you can feel the flow of the energy in the body. You can observe this. And this body of energy around us, this you can say this field of energy, that is called the pranamaya kosha, or the body of prana. This is what we call aura. When people talk about aura, now you have aura photography, Kirlian photography, where they're able to see the energy field around people. They're able to photograph it. So just like we have blood vessels all across, veins across the body, there is a whole nervous system, a network of nerves in the body. In the same way, there is a whole network of prana, energy channels, through which the prana, the life force energy flows. These are called nadis. So there is a system of nadis through the body, and they are connected to our physical body. Which means if somewhere the flow of the prana, the flow of the energy is not proper, if it gets blocked or if it flows in an irregular manner, it affects the body on the physical level. That is why if you see even, there are what we call energy centers, chakras in the body. There are many, but 7 are considered some of the major ones, the main ones. The Muladhara chakra at the base of the spine, then the Swadhisthana chakra behind the genitals, then Manipur chakra, this is in the navel region, what we call the solar plexus, then the Anahata chakra, which is the the heart region. In the heart region, Vishuddhi chakra, the throat region, and then Agnya chakra between the eyebrows, and Sahasrara chakra at the top of the head. So if you observe, whenever we have intense emotions, when you go through intense emotions or fluctuations in your state of mind, this is you can feel this on the level of the prana also. What we say, when you say, for example, butterflies, you have a sensation in the stomach. It's not a physical sensation, but you can feel. So that is the energy which is moving in that chakra, which is moving in a different way, or in a stronger way, or irregular way. The same way, you will find that different emotions reflect in these different chakras, energy centers of the body. Where if you see that when you're very focused, you have a sensation between the eyebrows, in the forehead, when you're concentrating a lot, when you're very focused. The same when you're angry, it manifests in the same place. When you're emotional, you can feel it in your throat. We say the throat chokes. When you're either emotional, or you're sad, or you're feeling grateful. So in that way, sometimes we get a glimpse. If you're sensitive, you can observe this. And of course, Ayurvedic doctors, we call them Vaidyas, they're able to analyze the flow of the prana in the body through something called Nadi Pariksha. And based on that, they're able to see whether if there is any imbalance in the body, different parts of the body. And the beauty is that yoga, through the breathing techniques, the pranayama, allows us to maintain our good health or restore our good health. It says in the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, Heyam Dukkam Anagatam, that yoga allows us to prevent the suffering, prevent the sorrow before it arises. What does this mean? That there are certain difficulties, sorrow, suffering, or disease, or things which would have come up, but which we are able to prevent through yoga. And one of the main reasons how we're able to do it is through the pranayama. So pranayama, one way how it's usually translated, we say breathing techniques. So pranayama, these are techniques through which we can increase the amount of prana in the body and direct the prana in the body. So by breathing in different ways, by attending to the breath, we are able to improve the flow of the energy in the body or specific parts of the body, utilize the prana in a specific way. And please feel free also, if anybody has a question, you can leave it in the comment section. You can post a comment with your question. I'll try to answer all of them while I am online. So I'll just complete this introduction and we'll go over to the questions. But through different pranayamas, we are able to direct the prana in different ways, and that way also remove blocks, improve the flow of the prana. If you see, like I was mentioning, the Kirlian photography, they notice that when they take pictures of someone's aura, of the energy field around us, the prana, the pranamaya kosha, they were able to see that there are differences in the color, differences in the way the energy field is depicted. And a few months, few weeks, few months later, in those places, for example, there might have been a different color or a change near the liver, then a few months later someone will develop a liver problem. Or they'll see that there is a discoloring, a different color somewhere else. And so they notice that any, which is also given in the scriptures, in Ayurveda as well, and yoga, that any imbalance in the body, any disease, any problem, it first manifests on the subtle level. So for that, again, we cannot go too deep into this topic because we have limited time, but the whole creation, our body, say, is made up of 5 elements: space, air, fire, water, and earth. And any distortion, any imbalance, anything, it first manifests on the most subtle level, which is the space element. So this is the level of the thoughts. And then when it becomes more gross, it goes to the air element, and that is where it affects in the breath, and the prana. And then the fire element, and then our digestion, and then the water, the earth element. Then the water and earth element, which are the physical elements, that is when we call it disease. That is when it manifests in the physical body, in a tangible way. Which means that if you can correct these things on the subtle level, when it is still in the space element, the air element, then we don't have to go through these things on the physical level. So this is something, when I heard about this for the first time and when I experienced this, it is revolutionary, I had never heard that this is possible. So that means that by a regular practice of pranayama, we are able to prevent so many types of suffering, whether it is physical, whether it is mental. Again, in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, Maharishi Patanjali talks about different obstacles on the path of a spiritual practitioner. Things which prevent you from experiencing your true nature, of prevent you from being free, being natural, being at peace. So he says there are 9. You can club it as 9 if you club everything together. And it starts with Vyadi, which is the disease of the body. Vyadi sthana samshaya, pramada lasya varati, bhranti darshana, alabdha bhumikatva, anavasti tatvani. These are 9 types. So this is the disease in the imbalance in the physical body, then mental illness, mental problems. And he mentions many more things, like 9 obstacles are there. And then he says something very beautiful. He says, he gives the effects these things have on us, these 9 obstacles, how it manifests. He says, Shvasa prashvasa, it affects the breath. Dukkha daurmanasya, sorrow and discomfort in the mind. Daurmanasya is like, you can say, depression. So sorrow, being sad, being unhappy, being depressed. Angame jayatva, and unsteadiness of the limbs in the body. These 5. Dukkha daurmanasya, shvasa prashvasa, angame jayatva. So whenever when you're mentally unhappy, when you're physically not well, all these things, it results in you being either sad or miserable or depressed or physically being unwell. The breath rhythm in the breath changes, or it affects the body. But then he says there are solutions also. That's the beauty. He doesn't just give the problems. He doesn't just say, we have this problem, that problem. And then he says one of the solutions, one of the things which we can do to attend to this, to fix this, he says is prachardana vidharanabhyam va pranasya, which means attending to the prana, breaking the pattern of the prana, breathing in a certain way or directing the prana in a certain way can allow us to come out of these obstacles, to fix these imbalances. So this is how he shows us a way. And many of us have experienced this also. Those who have done the Sudarshan Kriya, have learned the Sudarshan Kriya, there are amazing experiences people have. We have documented studies by medical institutes where, like NIMHANS and AIMS, where they have tested and they found that it is much more effective. If you say people, for example, with severe depression, it is more effective than drug therapy, it is more effective than shock therapy. It is so effective in taking people out of depression, which is mental illness, than physically. Personally, I know so many people who have overcome so many physical problems, health problems, which they were suffering for a long time by practicing pranayama and Sudarshan Kriya. So there are so many secrets in the breath, in the prana. And this is for everybody, like Chaitanya is asking, who can practice pranayama? Is there any age limit? Age limit, I would say there's no limit. People can keep on practicing and it will definitely allow you to become even older also in a healthy manner. Very young children, it's not required, basically. Like we see children also, when they're still very young, anyway they are natural, they are happy. They anyway do all the asanas. If you see the different yoga postures without anybody telling them, many of these things they do. But then yes, you can say when we become older, when these things start affecting us, whether it is our intellect, where we feel less natural, more uneasy or more stressed, or we have, like, even in the Art of Living, we teach various yoga programs. It's part of our programs. So we have a program which starts from when children are like 6-7 years old till 12, where we teach them just a few pranayamas. We teach them a little bit, just enough to allow them to deal with if they feel nervous, if they feel stressed. No, sometimes they, at that age already, they have to face things like peer pressure, or they're worried about an exam, or so little bit is there. And then for the age group beyond that, the teenagers, we have a few more pranayamas because they have more things to deal with. They need more tools, something for concentration, for their studies. So like that, there are different types of pranayamas which have specific effects. So like again, Chaitanya is asking, no, if prana is the same as oxygen, it's not the same. Prana is the life force energy. So definitely through the breath, through oxygen, yes, we get energy, but there are different other means as well. So it is not just the oxygen which is keeping you alive. No? There is something more subtle. And Hemant is asking how weather affects prana. Maybe you can specify the question. It's not very clear. So we get prana through different things. It can be through the breathing techniques. It can be through the food you eat, through your, like if you meditate. But one of the main sources of energy, one of the main sources of prana is the breathing techniques, the pranayama, through the breath. And there are many types of pranayamas. There are pranayama if you want to, if you're thirsty, how to quench your thirst, to increase the heat in the body, to cool down the body, to increase your memory power or your focus, your concentration. We have pranayamas to increase your energy level, to improve the lung capacity, to make the mind very peaceful, to quieten the nervous system. And one of the very beneficial and quite easy to learn also pranayamas is Nadi Shodhan pranayama. Like Sai is asking the significance of Nadi Shodhan pranayama. And it's beautiful. This is another, it's amazing science. We cannot go into it too much again, but to give you a glimpse, if you see both nostrils, we have the right nostril, the left nostril. When you breathe through the nose, if you observe closely, if you're very keen, if you look closely, you will find that sometimes you breathe more through the right nostril and sometimes you breathe more through the left nostril. And throughout the day, during different activities, different times of the day, this changes. So at some points you will find the right side is more active, you breathe more through the right side of your nose, and sometimes you breathe more through the left side of your nose. And this is not because it's blocked, not like, okay, you have a cold and you cannot breathe properly. No. It is simply that you say, okay, sometimes you breathe more through one side and sometimes more through the other side. This is natural. And this is connected to the activities in the body and mind. What we know, many might be aware, there are two hemispheres of the brain, two halves of the brain, the right side and the left side. And the activities in the right side of the brain are connected to creativity, to the feeling level, emotion, like music, arts. The consciousness, the awareness is more internalized. And the left half of the brain is connected to logic, to intellectual activities, to intellectual judgments, to logic. And if you observe, during when the left side is active, your consciousness is more externalized. So for example, if you have to do some intellectual work, if the left side of the brain is active, you will do it in a better way, you'll be more efficient. If the right side of the brain is active, then you will not be so effective, not so good at it. An interesting thing is the sides of the brain are connected to the opposite nostril. So the right nostril is connected to the left half of the brain and the left nostril to the right half of the brain. Which means if your right nostril is active, that means it is good to do intellectual things. And when the left nostril is active, it is good to do more artistic things or creative things. Singing, dancing, like art, that kind of activities. And when both are active, they say it's very good to meditate. There is a balance, no? The mind is balanced. So the beauty of Nadi Shodhan Pranayama is that by alternating the breath in the nostrils, for those who know, no? It's also called alternate nostril breathing, or Nadi Shodhan Pranayama, or Anulom Vilom Pranayama. So Nadi Shodhan means that, Shodhan means to clean, that which cleanses the nadis, which opens up the nadis. So it's a very beautiful pranayama, very effective to improve the flow of the prana, make the prana more smooth. At the same time, it allows you to balance these two halves of the brain, the activities, because we find mostly our activities, our lifestyle is such that one of these we use more. Either most of the time we are working intellectually, or in the office or anywhere, or maybe it's the other way around. If you see nowadays, many small children, they face this challenge where later on when they grow up a little, when they go to school, then the parents say, oh, they have a attention deficiency disorder, or they have difficulty focusing, they're not good at mathematics. But then we see then, in the years before that, or even when they're at school, those years as well, the earlier years, children nowadays, they spend so much time in front of the television. The parents are also happy, okay, at least when they're sitting and watching cartoons, they don't trouble us. But then what happens is, all day if you're listening to music, or all day if you're watching TV, cartoons, and so it's only stimulating the right side of the brain. It's only stimulating that creative side. So that means that later on they have a lot of difficulty with logic, with mathematics, with that kind of activity. Which means it's not balanced. Like all these years. Yes, sorry, for a moment we were paused because the connection is not so good here. So what I was saying, for example, if the small child is, has been all these years, had a lot of stimulus for one side of the brain, then the other side is not so developed, so it gives a problem. So for us also, it's important to balance these two. If we're not able to balance our activities throughout the day, when we work or when we, so at least taking out some time to do some pranayama to again bring it back into balance, where our perception, observation, expression will be more balanced, our body will be more healthy. And again, even on the physical level, you will find that when the right nostril is active, that means there is more heat in the body. It's connected to the sun, which means that is when your right nostril is active, it's better to eat food. It's good for digestion. When the left nostril is active, it's better, the digestive power is less in the body. So like that, there are so many things. It's a whole knowledge, a lot of it which is secret, which is not readily available. And that is why it was always said that yoga, pranayama, all these things need to be learned from a master. All the scriptures, they are very clear about this. Because many times I get a question also, people ask me, can I learn yoga, can I learn pranayama from a book or from YouTube? Can I watch TV? Can I get DVDs? Is your course available on DVD? They ask me. But then this was never advised. One, because the master can guide you. He can tell you what is appropriate for you, what is required for you, what you should avoid. Because he is well versed in that. He has the knowledge. You don't have that knowledge or experience yet. If you overdo something or you do it in the wrong way, it can affect you adversely as well. And a book, a DVD or YouTube channel will not be able to correct you. You might be looking at someone doing pranayama in a video and you might feel that what you're doing at home is exactly the same, but it might be something else. So if you do it if you breathe in the wrong manner, or if you're not sitting in the proper posture, or it can adversely affect you. If you overdo it, if you do it too much, or if you have a health condition which means you should avoid it or you should practice it in a different manner, that video will not be able to tell you. That book will not tell you. So make it a point. And that is why I feel that this yoga day is such a beautiful, it is such a blessing for this world, such a boon, that now we have a globally recognized International Day of Yoga, where more and more people can be introduced to these ancient techniques, this ancient knowledge, this wisdom, which is so beneficial to live a happy, healthy and fulfilling life. Because this is what in the end we are all looking for. Everybody wants to be happy. Everybody wants to be healthy. And everybody wants to have that sense of fulfillment, of satisfaction, of contentment. No? Otherwise, we see people which are considered very successful, and they are also stressed. No? They might have so much of money, they might have so much fame, but going home, they are also not able to spend quality time with their family, or they're not able to really enjoy their food, even though the food might be so delicious. So unless we attend to this aspect, which yoga gives us such a beautiful science, how to manage our mind, how to manage our emotions, no? Unless we attend to that, there is no guarantee that we will be happy, that we will be peaceful, that we will be fulfilled, contented, and live life with that enthusiasm. So one thing which is a great great opportunity for those who want to get a little bit more introduced into yoga. Tomorrow there is a special event in Chandigarh in India, where there is a yoga festival which is going to commence, which is going to start. There is a yoga festival in Chandigarh which will be starting, and it will be inaugurated by Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankarji himself. It is the official curtain raiser event for the International Day of Yoga, the second International Day of Yoga globally. So there is a live webcast for all those who are not in Chandigarh, who cannot make it there. They will be able to watch it online on our website. If you go to artofliving.org/webcast, we have a webcast. We have a YouTube channel also, Art of Living TV. You'll be able to see the live webcast there, to where Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankarji will speak. He will inaugurate the event. And for all of you who would like to be part of a yoga program, then we have another event in the run-up to the International Day of Yoga on the 12th of this month, which we call the Sun Never Sets on Yoga. So all over the world, globally, everywhere, people are coming together to practice yoga at the time of more or less the sunrise. Of course, different times of the world it changes, but 6 o'clock in the morning, around this time. So with the sun going around the earth, every 1 hour, when again the next place it becomes 6 o'clock in the morning, when the sun rises there, people will be doing yoga. So there is a wave of yoga, people practicing yoga with the rays of the rising sun across the globe. So if you go to our website, artofliving.org/IDY, which stands for International Day of Yoga. So artofliving.org/IDY, you will be able to see any events in your center, in your city or country where it is happening. You can participate in this, and of course invite all your friends, family members, inspire people to celebrate the second International Day of Yoga on the 21st. Of course, in a few places they celebrate it on the 19th of June this year, because it comes on a Sunday. So that whole week, usually either on Sunday or on the 21st on Tuesday, there will be big events all over the world where we can experience yoga, we can participate, we can learn about yoga. Like, many places we have seminars, we have special speakers. Even here in our Bangalore ashram, we have a special program on Sunday, on the 19th, where people can come and get introduced to this knowledge. So of course, this is just the beginning. One day doing yoga, it is definitely nice, but we should practice it every day to really get the benefit. But it's a beautiful way to get introduced. And then I would like to invite everybody to take out a little time to explore this, learn a little more, because I tell you, there are so many benefits. And we usually say, okay, we are too busy, I don't have time, I want to do, but I don't have time. See, we have to make time. There is no other way about it. But if you see why we are so busy, is because we are running around all day, we are doing so many things because we think those things will make us happy. And then in the end, we end up doing so many things, but still we don't have that real fulfillment, that real happiness. So instead of spending all our time, our health, our energy in running behind that happiness, I think the time has come that we start looking in the right place. And then you'll find a beautiful shift happens, where instead of living your life as a pursuit of happiness, you can live it as an expression of happiness, an expression of joy, where you can still do all these things, but from a sense of fullness, from a sense of joy, from enthusiasm, instead of from a sense of lack where we feel that something is missing. So this is what I would like to conclude this session with. I know there are a few more questions like Anand is asking, and so what I will do is I will go through the comments on the page, and I will answer them in the comment section. So please feel free, even later on, if you have any questions you were not able to ask, or if you see this video later, you can still leave a comment and we can attend to those questions. But again, like I said, because Anand also was asking that doing yoga brings palpitations, and then some people stopped because they were afraid. You know, that's why I said it's very important to learn it from a proper teacher. A person can guide you, because sometimes, like I said, we don't know. You have an experience and the teacher can guide you, so they might be doing something wrong. Maybe they need to practice it in a different way or in a more gentle manner, or so a personal teacher, a teacher can guide you. So they can come. We have programs all over the world. Art of Living Yoga programs are there. At the same time, people can come here also. One more person is asking, Durga is asking, what is the right time to do yoga? See, this is a tricky question, because definitely, of course, I would say that one very good time would be in the morning before you have your breakfast, when the stomach is empty, when the nature is still very peaceful, so that you can feel fresh before you start your day. But then that doesn't mean that you cannot do it any other time. So I would say it's better to do your yoga a little later, or to do it in the afternoon or in the evening if you did not get time in the morning, than to not do it at all. So I would say any time is the right time, but sometimes it will be more comfortable. No, we should not do it immediately after having food, or I wouldn't recommend also in the middle of the night. That is a time to be asleep. But it is better to do some yoga every day than only do it once a week but then do a lot. At the same time, it's better to do a little yoga or to do some yoga at a different time of the day. If you cannot do it in the morning, then to not do it at all. But yes, if you do it in the morning, if you get a chance, then you have the benefit that it will affect you throughout the day. You can reap the benefit throughout the day. When you feel more peaceful, when you're more energetic, when your body is more relaxed, more balanced, definitely it will benefit you throughout your activities. And then we'll take one last question. Meena is asking, it may be strange, but I would like to know, is there any connection between the temples and pranayama and meditation? I went to a temple recently. I felt my energy go very high if I did pranayama. And okay, the rest I cannot see here. Let me just try to, can I see pranayama and meditation? Okay. The thing is, definitely certain places, if the energy level is higher, you're going to feel it. And the beauty is, if the prana is there, and then if you do the pranayama, then sometimes we're able to feel it more easily. It's like when you put a fan, then you can feel that the air is there. So there might be a lot of prana. Then if you direct it in a different way, it's easier to feel it. That's why sometimes when we use mantras also with the pranayama, it has a different effect. You infuse it. So that's again a different topic. But this is there. So I would like to invite everybody to participate in our International Day of Yoga programs, the Sun Never Sets Sun Yoga programs. And definitely, if you cannot be physically part of the curtain raiser event with Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankarji in Chandigarh tomorrow, then do be part of the website. Become part of our website webcast. You can be there, follow it through the internet. We have that benefit nowadays, and make yoga a part of your life. It is something which is so precious that in today's world where it is being made available, we should not miss out on that chance. So it was lovely being with all of you. I wish you all the best. And like I said, if you have any more questions, please feel free to post them in the comment section. If not now, then later on I'll be able to answer them. Jai Gurudev.